All right, for this craft, you're gonna wanna start out with your pizza pan and some 15mm wooden half balls. I buy these on Amazon. I probably ordered these 5 or 6 times by now because I've used them on just like so many projects, but I will link to them in the video description. Sometimes if I'm being extra particular, I'll dry fit these in place first, but on this one I just glued them directly on the edge of the pizza pan using a little bit of E6000. And then once that glue had dried a little bit, I gave everything a quick coat of white spray primer. And then I followed that up with my Waverly, I think it's Crimson Red chalk paint. Waverly brand is just from Walmart. And looking back on this, I probably could have gone out and bought red spray paint, but I really don't mind painting. It's kind of relaxing for me, and this definitely takes a little bit of time to get in all the nooks and crannies around the wooden half balls. So if you're less patient or you don't enjoy painting, spray paint might be the way to go on this one. Once that red paint had completely dried, I added a coat of matte Mod Podge just inside the center of the pizza pan. I like matte Mod Podge paired with chalk paint just so that if there's an area that's not covered by the image that we're going to put over the Mod Podge that you'll see in a second, it's not really noticeable on the chalk paint where there's overlap. And then for my image, I just grabbed this 2025 calendar from Dollar Tree, and I really liked the image on the December page, so I just peeled that off and flipped my pizza pan over. I secured the image in place with some painter's tape just while I trace that circle there. So I kind of used my fingers to mark a crease so I could see where I needed to draw. This isn't a very precise method. I'm sorry, I don't have like a better way, I guess. And then I just kind of marked with a fine point Sharpie around the edge of the entire pizza pan. And then I just cut out my image. And so make sure you cut right inside your pen or your Sharpie marker line so that none of that ink shows on your finished project. And then the Mod Podge was completely dry here. If you try to put this calendar paper on wet Mod Podge, it wrinkles and curls and bubbles horribly. So I just use the heat press method. So I have this mini heat press in my craft room. If you don't have a heat press, an iron with no steam works just fine. I just protect my paper with some parchment paper, not wax paper, just parchment paper. And then the heat from the heat press reactivates the dried Mod Podge and you get a smooth finish with your decoupage there. Then I embellished with a bow. So I do the bunny ears method. So 1 loop, 2 loop, tie them in a knot. Make sure the tail ends are both pointing down before you fully tighten the bow. So finish off the tail ends with a little kite tail finish. So I just fold the tail end in half and then cut at a 45-degree angle. And the main reason why I made this bow was because there's a little hole at the top of the calendar page that you can see there. So I figured I could just hot glue a bow right in place to cover that up. And then to make a hanger, I grabbed that same 2-inch, 1.5-inch ribbon that I made my bow with, and then some 1/2-inch ribbon. So 3 pieces of whatever ribbon or scrap fabric that you have, tie it in a knot on one end, tape it to your work surface, and then braid all the way down. So make this as long or as short of a hanger as you want, and then just knot on the other end. So you have 2 knots on each end, or 1 knot on each end, so that your braid doesn't come undone. And then just flip that pizza pan over and hot glue each knot right to the back of the pizza pan in that little lip there. And there's your hanger for your pizza pan Christmas door hanger.